makes Daniel different from savants like Dane, and so extremely valuable to science, is that he can describe what's going on inside his head.
I experience numbers in a very visual way, using colours, texture, shape and form. Sequences of numbers form landscapes in my mind. It just happens. It's like having a fourth dimension. One, for example, would be very bright and shiny number. It's almost like somebody flashing a light in my face. You know, it's a very interesting experience. Number 2 is kind of like a movement, right to left, kind of like a drifting motion. 5 is like the clap of thunder or the sound of a wave against a rock. 6 is very small. It's actually the number I find hardest to experience in any sort of meaningful visual way, so it's often the absence of anything. It's like a hole or a chasm or like a black hole. Number 9 is the biggest number. It's very tall. They can be intimidating.
Daniel says he sees every number up to 10,000 as a distinct shape or image. Until recently, many researchers would have dismissed this as mumbo-jumbo. But there is now a sound, scientific explanation. Different parts of our brain are specialized for different tasks. Juggling numbers, for example, or seeing shapes. If cross-activation occurs between areas that are normally separate, then things can get very mixed up. You might hear a sound and see a color, or think a number and feel emotion. Scientists call this weird phenomenon synesthesia. Julian Asher, a researcher at Cambridge University, experiences synesthesia himself, but is struck by how peculiar it is in Daniel.
For most synesthetes, what they see is much more abstract. For instance, I see what almost might be colored flames, this sort of a flickering, flowing movement. But Daniel sees very concrete shapes, which is quite unusual. Is the entire number drifting upwards, or is it...
Julian believes that Daniel's complex imagery is the key to his gigantic memory.
When he's recalling a number that's 22,500 digits, what he's doing is moving mentally through a synesthetic landscape and effectively reading the numbers from the landscape.
But are Daniel's number shapes also the key to his maths ability? To find out more, we're sending him to San Diego's Center for Brain Studies in California, where he'll be grilled by skeptical scientists. First, though, he'll be traveling across America and putting some of his mental powers to the test. Daniel is in New York, but not as we know it. For someone who reads numbers into everything, the city is giving him a strange vibe.
Being in New York with all these huge skyscrapers, it's intimidating for me, and all the time I had this sensation that I'm being surrounded by nines. The number 9 is all around me. It can be a very nerve-wracking experience.
Daniel's next stop is the one he's been savouring. A meeting with the real Rain Man.
I'm looking forward to meeting Kim Peek, because he's meant to be amazing. He was the guy that the Rain Man character was based on. This is really exciting for me, because it's my first time meeting someone else with whom I have this bond.
Daniel makes his way to Salt Lake City's public library, where Kim and his father are waiting for him.
Hello, nice to meet you too.
Let's walk down in here, we can have
They head off to a quiet corner, where Daniel can find out more about Kim's stupendous memory.
Time they moved in there.
With total photographic memory, he remembers everything he's ever read. He can tell you every city in the United States, its highways and its area codes and its zip codes and its television stations and its counties and when it was made a state. The history of any country, all the rulers and when they served, presidents of this country, when they were born, their wives, their families, all of NASA's accomplishments, when they went up, when they came down, what they're doing. He can talk to you about the Bible. He can quote scriptures. He can tell you anything about it you want to ask him about. It seems like everything he reads, he maintains. At 9 months, the neuropsychiatrist said he's severely mentally retarded. He will never be able to learn. You should put him in an institution, forget about him.
But Kim was reading encyclopedias by aged 4 and had finished the high school curriculum by 14.
Goodbye, old pain. I'm a leaving Cheyenne. You know that?
How fast can he read?
He reads a page that you and I would read in 3 minutes approximately. It takes him about 8 to 10 seconds. He reads the left page of the left eye, right page of the right eye, and remembers about 98% of it.
We'll go back through here.
Kim, my birth date is January 31st, 1979.
It was a Wednesday, and this year it's a Saturday. We turned 2044 on a Sunday.
What year did Queen Victoria become Queen?
1837 to 1901.
Kim, if Winston Churchill was alive today, how old would he be?
130.
And what day of the week would his birthday fall on this year?
It would be on a Tuesday, the last day of November.
In 1987, Kim met actor Dustin Hoffman and became the inspiration for the hit movie Rain Man.
We went to Hollywood the next morning, and Kim spent the day with Dustin and all of his film friends. And it was amazing, all the things they asked him and all the things he knew. It was just like I hadn't known him before. There were so many new things that came out of him.
Although I'm much older, you're still a fine man.
Thank you. So are you.
Yes.
And he says you don't have to be handicapped to be different, because everybody's different.
There were all sorts of associations bubbling over in his mind.
No wonder you look like Mary Ruth Haslam.
It was almost as if he had too much information and he couldn't get it out quickly enough. His parting words to me were, we looked into each other's eyes and he said, one day you'll be as great as I am. And that was a wonderful compliment, and what an aspiration to have.